Hey, everybody. This is Liberty Lampoon episode number 25 with just me, Aaron. And also, this is actually a replay of a Seeds of Liberty episode that I was just recently on. Seeds of Liberty is Jeremy Hangeller and Dave Painter. We talked about a lot of different stuff. You'll hear all of it in this episode, from stuff from my past all the way to the left versus right question within the Libertarian Party. There's a lot of cool stuff that we talked about in this. Beards, you name it. But also, I will say this. You should subscribe to the Seeds of Liberty. I love listening to their show. It was a pleasure to be on their show. And once again, thanks to those guys. And here it is. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Next week, we got a character, somebody from the Trump administration. So that's going to be great. Make sure that you check out all of our stuff at libertylampoon.com. If you'd like to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/libertylampoon. And if you want to find the Seeds of Liberty, you can go in the description of this podcast, and I'll put a link there. So thank you guys so much, and we'll definitely see you next week.
Hey,
Beans.
Liberty.
Oh, it's another Aaron Thompson. Holy crap.
Completely different Aaron Thompson.
Holy crap.
We actually came
Small
across
world.
another. Wasn't he from Oklahoma too?
Yeah.
I could swear this guy was from Oklahoma.
Yeah, he was.
His name's Aaron Thompson. And he's a former cop and military member. Turned voluntarist.
I actually saw, I think,
You kind of sound like him, too.
He commented on something that I had commented on, and I thought that my phone had been hacked, because I was like, I did not post that comment just now. And then I clicked on it. I was like, oh, there's another Aaron Thompson who's into volunteerism.
My apologies, Aaron.
But
you can understand my confusion.
Oh no, I guess I forgot to clear that up for you, Dave. But yeah, like I said, I could swear I remember him being from the Midwest type area, and for some reason Oklahoma sticks in my head, and that would just be a ridiculously small world.
Yeah.
If not only did you have the same name, you were both.
Might have been North Carolina. I could be wrong.
I don't know, but anyway, but that was the confusion because we had him lined up to do our Force to Freedom podcast that just never got off the ground.
Right.
But no, this is a different Aaron Thompson, Dave. He's one of the co-hosts of Liberty Lampoon, and which is what you guys kind of shifted formats, I guess. What did you used to do? Was it Shotgun News? Was it the old one?
The Shotguns Report, which
yes.
Basically that was like if I kind of scrubbed the internet of all of those.
Oh yeah. Sorry, don't mean to open up old wounds.
You pulled a Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, well, the reason why was because it was literally me and my co-host kind of like turning over the ideas that we now embrace, kind of like working towards where we are now. You get what I mean? Like, there's a lot of content on those that that I don't want to see the light of day ever again. So,
I have some stuff like that out there as well, Aaron.
Yeah. I have some... I mean, I probably have just gobs and gobs of stuff on the internet that when I was a sophomore in high school, I thought that I wanted to be a Christian rapper. So I recorded some stuff and put it on the internet, and
that's
it
rough.
wasn't bad, but I'd rather no one ever hear it ever. So
I have to set a bounty out for that if somebody can find it.
I think it's on Acid Planet. I think there's something it's called Acid Planet. I think I have something on there.
Christian rap. A white Christian rapper. Got it, man. That's wild.
Yeah. Not anymore. Don't put that evil on me now. So I'd rather not talk about that anymore. I don't know why I brought it up.
Yeah, man. Hey.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
We're just.
I'm glad to be here.
We're learning all about you. It's wonderful, man. Keep going. This stuff's great. I mean, come on. We all have that type of stuff out there. I mean, I still contend one of the worst interviews ever conducted. Actually, no, that might be two now. One that I was the interviewee, one that I was the interviewer. Both of those. The very first time I was ever on any type of show that had anything to do with anarchy or voluntarism or anything like that was when our former co-host Danilo interviewed me on his show like more than a year before we started the podcast. And that was a train wreck and a half.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's
it
still
was
out
a train
there.
wreck, obviously.
I tried to ask it, like I did half jokingly ask him to take it down a couple of times. And I think he actually considered doing it one time, but then I was just like, oh no, whatever, man. I gotta own my stuff. So but it really was. And I think I've said this before on the show. I've used it as a training aid for guests that we've had on that have been nervous because they've either never done a show or they never did a video show back when we were still doing video and stuff like that. And I would just tell them to go watch that. And I said, just go watch me make a complete buffoon of myself on Danilo's show and you will feel better about yourself. And it has worked every time because I was so nervous, even though I was talking to this guy who is now like, this wasn't just some guy who pulled me off the street to interview me. Like I had become friends with him over the course of a year, interacting online and stuff like that. And, you know, we shared a lot of the same ideas. And like, I was very comfortable having conversations like that with him, but you put me on there and I was just like a deer in headlights. I said the phrase, you know, before, during, and after pretty much every sentence I said. It was brutal.
I remember.
It was so brutal. Like and
then something in my head said, I want to do a show with that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea why. But yeah, I only ever watched half of it again. I couldn't get past that, and I wanted to cry. And I'm like, I can never even watch this thing again. But I point other people to it. It's a great training aid, so that's why I leave it out there. You know, but I can understand.
I've had you on Liberty Lampoon, and I was so freaking nervous that I said like a billion times. And I actually went through and deleted a lot of them. So there's that, you know.
You're never supposed to tell people that we make. See, yeah, exactly. You're supposed to make, but yeah, but you.
Well, mine is I say I mean a lot. So like when I listen to my stuff and record it, or I mean have to edit it, I'm sitting there going, how many times are you gonna say I mean, Dave? Like really, you got to get that out of here. And like I can't stop it. It's just a tick, I guess.
Well, most people have certain crutches when it comes to vocabulary that you lean on when you need to think for a second. And the hardest thing to do in those situations, especially when you're doing some type of recording, even if it's not live, it's very hard to instinctually just say nothing and do nothing and just wait for the idea to come to you and let silence happen. Because most of us, I mean, I know I do, and Dave, I know you do, because you act like we're on live radio every time we do a show together. There can't be any silence. Dave's just like, gotta jump in. I've yelled at him for years about this now, but I understand it. You know, when you do this stuff enough, you're constantly kind of like in that on mode where you feel the need to fill those silences. And even if you're trying to explain something, it's like, well, I can't just sit here and say nothing. So things like, you know, well, you know, all that stuff comes out. And
yeah.
We all have it. It happens.
What annoys me about it, though, is that I hear it in my, like, once I notice that I have something like that, I hear myself doing it all the time. Like when I just said, just now, that stuck out in my head, you know, I don't know. There we go again. A whole bunch.
But for me, it all depends on how many people I'm talking in front of. Recordings and podcasts, you know, it's just me and, you know, two guys on the internet talking.
Right.
I'm a lot more semantical and proper when the more people I'm in front of talking. It's just the worse, the fewer people I'm around, the more sloppy I am, because, you know, it's like it's hard to like put all that brain power into saying everything correctly all the time when we're so used to everything being streamlined these days. Like language is almost too slow.
I know what you mean. Dave, so I heard like I think it was the last show or something, maybe the show before that. You said something about you're growing out a beard. It's been a long time or what? How long is your beard right now?
How long is it? I haven't actually measured. I don't have a. Let's say this. It goes from my chin all the way down to the middle of my nipples right now.
Oh, damn. It's
So just imagine your chin. Just go your chin to your nipples, and that's how long my beard is right now.
Wow.
And I've been growing it 2 Novembers. So this November will be my 3rd November.
And you said You said you were going to try to go to the beard competition,
the World
or
Beard
whatever?
Championship. Yeah. I'm gonna try to go on the free beard. They have a certain section of it. It's all categorized. Like here's the mustache or whatever. But there's one that's like it's like the big one, and it's basically who's got the best beard genetics. And I'm gonna get radical with the hair growth hormones and stuff or whatever you can rub into your beard. Probably the last year before I go, and hopefully try to get a real good thick, beard, because I think I have the genetics, man. I don't have any spots that are heavily missing. So
yeah,
See,
I don't know.
You
Why
have
I
a
was
beard?
interested in that. Yeah, well, I always shave mine off. I just can't. For some reason, it gets itchy. I'm starting to get white in it. I'm pretty young. I'm not even 30, and I'm starting to get white hairs like coming out of the sides of my beard.
Here's the way I look at it, right? Like, could you imagine if you went out to the Serengeti and you were just walking around and all of the lions were shaved? Like none of them had a mane. Just imagine a lion walking around without a mane. That's how I look at men that are shaved, man. Like it's almost
listen, you beard.
A lesser man.
We've had this conversation before, Dave. I take issue with this because I can't grow a beard. I would if I could. I do have beard envy. Dave likes to rub this in, pun intended.
Hey, we don't get to pick our genetics, okay? I have voice envy.
Well,
you have beard envy. It's best just to use what you got with what you got.
Yeah, but the way you're describing things, I mean, sure, if somebody can grow.
Hey, look, I can be a beard elitist asshole. Like, allow me to do that. Okay?
But all I'm saying is, the way you were describing it, if somebody can grow a nice, luxurious beard and then chooses to shave it off, then I could see your lion analogy. But why you gotta pick on me and my damn genetics, man? I didn't ask for this, man. I did not ask for shitty fucking facial hair genetics.
You can grow it out, man. Just keep growing.
Dave, I tried. I went full motherfucking hobo for like 6 months and just didn't touch it. It was scary. Like it's so patchy. Like you've seen me, man. Like I can grow. I can actually grow.
There's a Greek guy in like, I don't know, like in my family tree somewhere, and that's why I got lucky.
Whatever. I keeping the hair on my head. I'm happy enough about that. All right, because I'm about to hit 40 and I'm not losing that. So you know what? If I can't grow a beard, what I can grow, unfortunately, is the stupid hipster just along the jawline, skinny ass beard. I can actually grow that. That's what grows on me. Everything else is patchy.
Beater,
that's
grows
called a
on me.
Filipino beard, bro.
Okay, whatever
that's
you.
What it's called.
Okay. Well,
chin strap.
I rocked that back in the day because it's the only thing I could freaking grow. That's why I go with the Van.
Everlast.
Well, yeah, but that's why I go with the Van Dyke because that's the only thing that grows in fully on me, and it's the only thing that's ever grown in fully on me. So that's all I can do.
Well,
man.
they just back in the day they made slaves shave. That's just how you knew a man was a slave. Free man could grow beards. That's all I'm saying. Like that's fact.
Did you also used to listen to a lot of Limp Bizkit or?
No, thankfully.
I mean, cut this short.
No.
Who didn't listen to a lot of Limp Bizkit? If you don't like break stuff on the occasion, like, are you even human? You're having a bad day. Just turn on break stuff and just crank it on up. I promise you, by the end of the song, you're not gonna have a bad day.
Oh God. I do want to mention that we just glanced right over a microaggression against hobos because.
Did I aggress against hobos? Oh,
I was micro triggered. I didn't really want to bring it up, but thank you for bringing this to light. Jeremy, do you want to repent to liberal Pope?
No. You know what? It is my fault though, because I think at the beginning of last year I gave out a trigger warning at the beginning of the year and said this was covering it. I think I forgot to give one this year. So as of this moment,
we just do a whole year of trigger warnings in one episode.
Here's my trigger warning for the year. So hobos, get off my back. All right, get over it.
Trigger warning for the entire year. If anybody gets mad at us, refer to episode 94.
Exactly.
Okay?
That's how I roll, man.
I've been getting called out for like with our show. Dave, I don't even know if you've listened to it at all, but we really try to be offensive on purpose.
Oh, you guys were trying? Okay, that makes more sense now.
I have a few friends that are doing that with very high success right now.
Right. It's fun to me, and it's not really necessary. It's more so because I really want to offend people on every political sphere or every ideology, everything. You know, I want to. I want.
You just want to be Aaron the offender.
Well, no. It's more so that I want people to not think so highly of all their ideas. You know what I mean? I mean, even
you just
libertarians.
Want to be an iconoclast.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
That's a big word, Dave. Everyone's ideas, man.
It's hard for me to process big words, but
it's okay. It's hard for Dave to process them too. That's why he just throws them out all the time. Sometimes they stick, other times they don't.
Sometimes
like
they
modicum,
stick, yeah.
That he gets wrong every time.
Modicum.
Flossinoconahilipilification.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Good insight. I don't even know what to do with that one.
That one means the estimation of something is worthless. Anyways, I used it in a Christian rap once.
Wow. See, now why would you not want the world to see that? That sounds impressive. Now I have to see this. Where is it? I'm going to go. It has to be somewhere.
It's on Acid Planet. I'm telling you.
I don't even
know really don't want to send people there.
We're going to have to put that in the show notes.
I can't get to the actual site though because
he's got them all on VHS. Don't let him lie.
Yeah. What? I don't know what that is.
He's not even. He's younger than you. You think he knows what VHS is? Get the hell out of here.
No, I do. I was just
my new thing is like I can relate to you if you've watched porn on VHS. That's where I'm at in life.
I can relate to you.
I can relate to you.
That covers a large swath of people, Dave.
It does, but it also puts a hard bookmark on a lot of people. Like there's a certain cutoff on age where. Most likely you're never going to confront a VHS and a VHS player that's porn, you know, like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get off the Christian rap / VHS
porn discussion.
No. Why? I thought we had a show title brewing somewhere in there. I mean, I thought if we just kept going with
porn and Christian rap.
No,
God.
That's not catchy enough. I thought we'd stumble onto it if we kept
not catchy enough. It'll pop up. Sometimes it just comes out naturally. Like
I said that I wasn't going to bring that up.
Naturally.
You did say it, but you did.
Yeah.
Twice.
I don't know why.
So tell us about Liberty Lampoon and why people should be adding this to their RSS feed, man.
Okay, so the whole catch line of it is that we lampoon politicians, public figures, policies, and print from a libertarian perspective. Mm-hmm. But as I was saying, you know, we want to offend people. The idea is to basically delegitimize people's heroes or masters or policy pushers or who push the narrative in a certain direction. I mean, even if that's libertarian, I don't really care.
You're just wanting to start up a shit tsunami and point it in a direction.
Right. And, you know, we inject liberty where we can. I mean, every episode, you know, it's not like we just leave it out. But I'm seeing, you know, this last election, I was seeing people praising Giant Meteor of Death and D's Nuts. Yeah. And that seems like the market calling for like a libertarian shit-talking South Park. And that's what we tried to do with, you know, we've done characters. I did an impression of Al Sharpton, literally like blackface on a podcast, you know.
Yeah. And if you need an Alex Jones, just call me, okay?
We killed him off, actually. All of our
I can
characters,
do a lot of voices. You just let me know.
Yeah, actually, after I killed off Alex Jones on our podcast, it was the Christmas special. I heard your Alex Jones impression. I was like, God damn it, because I could have probably gotten through to you through like Jeremy or something. So
yeah. Maybe we could do Alex Jones flashbacks or something.
That'd be pretty funny.
There you go.
Well, yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Even Jim Jesus.
Listen, I'm coming to you from a dream, Aaron.
Oh God.
You need to buy my water filter before you take this shower or not.
You do sound just like him.
Dave.
It's my girlfriend fucking hates it. Because I'll just go hours talking like Alex Jones.
Don't talk like that while you're doing it, man. You can't. It's not a turn.
Baby, let me tell you something. The way you look tonight, it can melt. It can melt the paint hotter than the jet fuel did.
It makes me want to filter your juices through this water filtration.
Baby, I got so much super male vitality going through me right now.
Enter offer code Alex Jones.
Hey, we all crack, but you know, I like Alex Jones. He's passionate about what he does, and you know, I give him a look at every so often when he puts out something that's not completely just useless.
Yeah, I don't think I've listened to his show one time. I turned it on, I think, for like the intro commercial, and I don't know what happened, but I started seizing a little bit and I had to turn it off. So.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Anyways, back to Liberty Lampoon.
Yeah.
We've been getting accused of being alt-right because it seems like we're trying to trigger people, but I don't understand that, because we have gone after, I mean, every single ideology or belief, pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
and we've also been called liberals, and whatever. Anything you
people
want
to put you in a box, man, and then we'll walk away like they won.
Right. I really think, though, the Libertarian Party has been the worst to us, in that anytime I post something on like the Libertarian page, and I know that it's a Libertarian Party member because you see the Gary Johnson signs, behind their profile picture or whatever. It's like we made some short clips of joke commercials that we did making fun of Gary Johnson and Bill Weld, and people would comment like, "Not funny. What would you have us just quit?"
Well,
like,
yeah.
like that. Yes, that's
I'm
what
not saying,
I want.
We'd really
everybody's
appreciate it if
like,
you did.
What's the line that's been going around like the last few weeks? Trump's done more than the Libertarian Party has in 40 years or whatever. Like, yeah, okay, but if like what would people be saying if Gary Johnson won? Like, there's like if anything even close to a libertarian got in, like, though, it would be like the sky has fallen to these people. Like, they don't even understand like what would even come from like even a quasi libertarian like Gary Johnson.
Well, it's not. I'm not trying to put all Libertarian Party members into a box. I mean, I think it's useless, but
Me too.
I just think that, it's weird that some political party that is supposedly associated with a belief system that I hold, it has been harsher towards me than, say, a conservative or a liberal, And actually, conservatives, even more so, I think, have been hostile, just because we kind of went after the church a little bit, and Franklin Graham, and
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
They take that stuff kind of
If
seriously.
you're going to come after religion, you have to come at it with logic, in my opinion. Because they don't want a logical debate. If you come at it any other way, then you're barking up their alley. You're giving them an emotional hill to die on, exactly what they want. So it's a big mistake.
Well, the point that I was making, the point that I made was with Franklin Graham was like, all of a sudden he wants to involve God in the process of a political election or something like that. And, I said a fake prayer, basically. I guess it was pretty blasphemous now that I think about it.
Well, I mean, you have to rustle feathers, man. It's like people don't understand that controversy creates cash. Like, for some reason, they just don't get that in their head. And so, like, when people are talking about you, that's good. It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive what they're discussing, unless you're raping children. No one wants to. Yeah,
we only do that a couple of times a week, but other than that, I mean, it's the farthest.
No, I'm talking about like if somebody's talking about you in the light of like, hey, you might be possibly raping children. That's not the press you want. Okay.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, we don't actually do that.
But almost all other negative press is amazing. People just don't get that.
I mean, it was more so like just saying, hey, it's weird that you're like praying for the death penalty in Oklahoma, and you're praying for people who don't believe in your belief system to be forced at gunpoint to pay for the 10 Commandments statue going up. And then you're like upset when the Satanists want to put Baphomet up, I don't know. I was just making the point of the hypocrisy, it's okay for us to set up firing lines to shoot, people, but also we want our freedom of religion. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like your religion supposedly believes that,
if there's a state where you're at, that's your religion. By the way, like that's like you may call yourself something else, but you're forced to obey and essentially call master the state.
Yeah,
which is breaking a lot of commandments and a lot of rules and a lot of religions.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's what we're all about. Just trying to have fun, kind of do it
Shit
in a
on
comical
everyone.
sense. Yeah. But it's supposed to be like funny, that's what we really want people to get out of it, is just kind of relax. And I've gotten some good messages back, like from friends, leftists. I've gotten a lot of actual comments from some liberal people that I know who say it just it helps them relax a little bit about all this, and that's something that I'm cool with, because that gives me an in to maybe speak some truth, I guess. So,
well, sure.
Yeah.
That's if you have that opening, why not take it? But I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I've told you before, I am a fan of your show. I listen every week, and actually, I don't think did I do this week's yet? No, I don't think, 'cause it just came out like 2 days ago, right? So yeah, it comes out on Tuesday.
It was wishy-washy, dude.
I don't think I've gotten to it yet, but no, I just turned 2 other people onto your show just this week, because it came up in conversation, and it's because somebody was talking about the fact that they like to listen, but because of other things they have to do, they have a hard time listening to the more serious podcasts where they know they would gain a lot more information, but they can't focus. So they prefer to listen to more lighthearted things. And I was, because they already listened to the Freedom Fiends, and I'm like, well, that was kind of the reason the Fiends were always at the top of my list even before I became a Fiend, because it was my go-to show when I couldn't concentrate, because you can miss a thing, like a word here or there. It's not the end of the world if you're not trying to learn something, if you're just trying to have fun. And I mean, you still learn things along the way, but and then your show is perfect for that too, because I love to listen to it. You guys make me laugh, and especially when Michael mimics you and drives you up a wall, because it would drive me up a wall. I mean, I know you guys, it's kind of like part of your shtick now, but when he copies all the things you say. And who was that you did the show with? Andrew, what was his name that you had?
Andrew Wacker. Yeah, he's he's the liberal I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember you guys saying you didn't really agree ideologically.
Yeah, but we found some common ground, and the reason that I did that is, well, mainly because I couldn't find anybody to do a show with. But secondly, there's this message out there that I've been hearing constantly from, it's in the liberty movement pretty hard, where it's like, we can't live in the free society that we want. There cannot be like liberals. You know what I mean? Like leftists, they cannot exist side by side with us. What?
Yeah, well, or the larger term leftist is usually what it's turned into.
That's I'm sorry, I keep
they misappropriate
a
portion of a Hop quote to do that. Yeah,
but to me, the way that I keep looking at it is like, we need to. Everybody needs to be considered as individuals. I know that groups are useful. I know that it's easy to use that to group people together or whatever. But if you heard me with Andrew, we talked about war. We both hate war.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about drug legalization. Legalization. Whatever. They shouldn't be criminalized, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those were a couple things that we could agree on. And really, that's the way that I look at this whole stupid ass left versus right thing. And I don't even know why it's a part of the libertarian message, but whatever. But I have this theory, people always say that it's a pendulum swinging back and forth, like right versus left, every so often it swings to the right. Every so often it swings to the left. And I don't know if you've ever heard this, but I have this theory that it's actually more like a compass. You know what that is? Like in geometry, what a compass is?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like it's 2 points and they're connected in the middle, and you use it. Usually there's a pencil on one end, and you use it to draw a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had this idea that it's like you start at the bottom of the page, and one side's the left, obviously the left leg of the compass, and the other is the right side of the compass. And so they swing past each other as it moves forward. So it looks like it's a pendulum swinging back and forth, but it's really authoritarianism walking towards the cliff, like they're working together. They're conjoined in the middle, but they're not really separate.
Mm-hmm.
Would you understand that? Like, does that make sense?
I can see what you're saying.
So like we have to get outside of that. We can't just continue to play by those rules or whatever.
My left and right is completely different than I guess what most people would consider when they say left and right. So like to me, like a rightist is somebody that does not advocate any market aggression at all, any aggression in the marketplace at all, zero. So pure capitalism. So a leftist is any variant of someone who wants aggression in the marketplace for whatever reason, whether it be for roads or military or armies or everything. That is leftism. Just we're talking about difference of degree. So when someone gets called a leftist, it means they want aggression in the marketplace. Someone who wants aggression in a marketplace in privately owned like villages or whatnot, they cannot be there. They're going to be removed because what they're advocating for is people not to own their property. So that's all that quote is trying to say, and that's what all these people are trying to push this narrative for. And that's all the argument is to kind of get people to wake up to this whole thing that, hey, supporting leftist ideologies is aggression and it is bad. And if things go privatized, your ass will be gone. Those are just facts.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that may be the case.
And it's hard to call someone an individual. And I'm one of these people that says only individuals act religiously. I say this in my head 1,000 times a day. It's hard to say that when 1,000 motherfuckers put on masks, cover up everything, grab flags, and run around and try to start burning shit down. What? That's not an individual right there. That's a bunch of people that are rejecting their individuality to destroy property.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't see those things. I see those things happening, and I understand
the marketing is what you're discussing.
Yeah, I'm saying that if the idea is that these people are to be completely given up on, then it's never. I mean, what I'm sure that
I don't
there's
think you
people
give up on anybody.
Yeah, right. You don't, but I'm sure there's people who look at libertarians and say the same thing.
Of course. So. But there's also, there's getting back to the whole groups and groupings and you said it earlier, Aaron, they are useful in certain situations. And yes, what you just described, Dave, with the black bloc type people who seemingly have no issue with destroying private property just because they see it as corporatism and that's all that matters to them. But they're also a much smaller percentage of the whole, when you try to make it that binary, when you try to look at it as, well, the rightist is, even if it's just your personal definition, but fine, you're making it so binary that these are rightists. This is the one thing that defines them.
The reason I did it so binary is because it helps better describe the current political paradigm.
But hold on. Okay, but it really doesn't though, because the current political paradigm is defined not by, but it's not by. We're not defined by the current. We don't get to define the current paradigm. We're heavily outnumbered. They define it the way that they see it. And currently it's right and left.
Philosophy.
But what I'm saying is when you do that, and then you also agree with all these other people that if they want to take that quote, the hop quote, or just that idea to the extreme, like the whole, the helicopter crowd, basically, if you want to agree with them as well, then you know what, you're lumping everybody together, because that's how that outlook, that's the end game of that outlook, where you see everybody as who's on a leftist, no matter what the degree, as unreachable. And more and more people. Well, hold on. More and more people are saying this openly now, and it's really getting quite sickening, because aside from myself and Danilo and people like Eric July, I know a lot of other prominent people that are libertarians or just straight out anarchists now, that all came from the left originally, and some were actual Marxists. Like admitted, proud Marxists, not just useful idiot leftists like I was.
On my spectrum, everyone came from the left, unless you're an anarcho-capitalist from the get.
But again, Dave, but like I said, when you combine those two things together and you agree with both of them, then you necessarily cut out a huge swath of any population that you're not even you're openly admitting that you're to not even be willing to work with.
Lumping people together and saying,
but that's what
we shouldn't even.
But that's what they're saying.
And I don't agree with that.
But you're missing what I'm saying. You're agreeing with them on everything else on this whole idea. You're missing the intersection there that you're actually inadvertently agreeing to as well. It's not. It's not
and
I agree with Aaron. It's not healthy.
With someone, I can.
Well,
it's not. I just don't think that we should try to identify so closely with the economic right or the socially liberal or whatever the fuck leftists. I think that's a big waste of time.
Thing.
And I think that the goal should be for us to figure out what we do in our own lives to increase our freedom, proselytize where you can. But I don't see the value in throwing your lot in with someone just because the alternative is unbearable. And that's what I've heard a lot of lately is like, I see a lot of people that are part of the libertarian movement, like kind of just, I'm okay with the alt-right, like, and so it's weird to me because I think that people should, we should be open to individuals from any group trying to get to them. But I don't think that we should just automatically assume that these alternatives are good or anything. They both want to use the force of the state in some way, shape, or form. So,
absolutely. The main reason the ones in the libertarian movement that are trying to plead to these alt-righters, if you will, just accept the colloquialism there.
Yeah,
they're doing it because it's
I'm talking about like no groups and then throwing around terms like alt-right. But
that's an economic stance. The alt-righters, it's majoritively an economic stance. You can do all this Western culture stuff behind it as well, but most of all of that is economic, is what it is. It's an economic reaction to communism.
It's not purely economic, though. It's not purely economic because the alt.
It's not purely, but it's largely based on.
But no, because again, this is the thing. I've been trying to tell you this for the longest time, and you keep ignoring me. The alt right is not this abstract thing that the name has now become. It had a very specific purpose when Spencer coined the term. They were straight up admitted proud white nationalists. That is that is the overarching thing behind the actual alt-right movement. All these idiots that keep willingly attaching their name to it and going, we're all the alt-right now or whatever this bullshit is, have no idea about this. And most often when it's presented to them, they shrug it off as liberal media bias bullshit. No, that's the actual fucking story.
I don't know
these people
about Richard Spencer.
No, see exactly. But I hate to break it to you, man. But Mister, I need to know everything about everything before I talk about it. Yeah, you did. I've been trying to warn you about this for the longest time. You don't listen. That's why all these idiots out there that keep attaching themselves are making complete buffoons of themselves and or actually really proving their fucking racist tendencies. And that's not liberal fucking SJW bullshit. That's motherfucking legit because you've just attached yourself to America's fucking largest white national fucking movement. You fucking idiots. Christopher Cantwell, who a bunch of these idiots are still following, has gone full-blown motherfucking white nationalist.
Yeah, that's definitely accurate.
And he became a fucking meth addict and these people are still cheering these fucking people. No. I thought he was kidding. I totally thought I think he's a cop. He's not a cop. I know he's not a cop. He traveled in the same circles as me here on Long Island for 2+ years before he moved up to New Hampshire, and then I hung out with him a couple times after he came back. I know he's not a fucking cop.
Well, I'm never going to agree with a socialist, and white nationalism is national socialism. Basically.
But that's what the alt-right is.
Some of the economic stances they make, though, that the alt-righters, quote unquote, make, like no skinhead would ever agree with, ever. It's like, we want free markets,
but again, they're not skinheads. They're not neo-Nazis. They're white nationalists. There's a difference.
Yeah, I think Jim Jesus is like the best at explaining.
Oh, yeah, again, that's why we had him up. We didn't get to touch on enough of this stuff. He's like Jim's excellent at this because he became obsessed years ago with cults. And he ended up wanting to learn everything there was to know about them and what to look for and examine and he's done a lot of research on this stuff. And that's why when he says, when somebody's like, "Oh, that's a cult," and everybody's like, "No, they're just saying that," and then I go to Jim and he's like, "Well," it's like, "Okay, now I want to listen because what do you got?" Because it's like when you look into this stuff, but that's what it is. They're not like because Richard Spencer claims that the neo-Nazis hate him, and that would make sense because At least if their claims are legit, they're just nationalists. They're not neo-Nazis because they don't want to exterminate the black people. They just don't want to live with them. The black or the brown people.
I know it sounds crazy, but discrimination.
Oh no, I'm not
moving yourself away from
it's
people
not,
in society is totally in line with libertarianism. Property rights has exclusion as number one tenet. Like, it has to happen.
Yeah,
people don't want to live.
And how do you acquire that property? How do you acquire that property when the majority of the population wants nothing to do with you? Because regardless of whether you think you're right or not, how is it legitimate? Yes. This is the problem with people who read and read and read and read and only read Mises and Hoppe and Rothbard and stuff like that, and then become the living embodiment of the joke that people like me actually started, the Asperger-tarians, because I actually am one. But I started it as a joke. But these people become even more so because they become so disconnected from fucking reality because all they do is live, breathe, and talk about motherfucking theory. They don't pay attention to what actually goes on in the world. They don't account for those fucking variables because, well, they've become essentially motherfucking robotic. And this is coming from somebody who is on the goddamn scale, was robotic for a good portion of his life, had to teach himself empathy. I can see all this stuff because I had to reverse engineer it to become normal like the rest of you. So when I say stuff like this, like, people just look at me and fucking laugh, and I'm like, I can fucking see it because I see it happening. I know exactly what nobody has any fucking clue. It's all fucking theory to them. That's why they make fun of the agorist. People like me who are actually trying to do this shit in real time and doing it right now and saying, fuck you, government, come and get us.
Right.
You know, like, but they make fun of us. They make fun of us. We're just leftists, all because Konkin was a fucking nut job, man. He came up, he put together a really good idea based on other things he had learned from other people. And then the next person to pick it up was J. Neil L. Ron Hubbard Schulman, whatever the hell that guy, that idiot's guy, the guy who wrote the really good book alongside Knight that he turned into the most horrible movie of all fucking time, and who declares himself to be some kind of capitalist agorist, but he's hardcore for IP and stuff like that. So are there people involved in that were, I guess, what anybody else would classify as a leftist or a left libertarian? Sure. Does that mean the philosophy has to stay that way? No, because it could be adopted. It's all about just the main tenet is essentially counter economics. It's just it's a practical way to put the ideas and the theories of anarcho-capitalism into practice right now.
For you personally, you know, I mean, that's kind of like what I'm saying is, to me, it seems to be the best idea for individuals who believe in all this stuff to try to make freedom for themselves. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at anyways. I want freedom in as soon as possible, and you can get it now. You know what I mean? You don't have to fucking move to New Hampshire. You have to be
pragmatic in involvement with the state. Like, other than that, yeah, like, do as much as you can without the state. You're right.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't mean to like open a can of worms or something.
No,
if
it's
I did.
all right.
I thought for sure that this was going to be like probably, you know, the dick and fart joke episode of Sons of Liberty, but
yeah, this has been bubbling in me for a while. So
you get Jeremy fired up, and it's like fireworks.
This is what Dave wants. This is what Dave has always wanted from me. He's said it multiple times. I think he said it on the show. You know.
Yeah,
people don't want to hear people that are just droning on and on. They want to hear fired up people basically preaching. They want to hear a preacher, and it's hard to stay that fired up 24/7.
But I'm not. Right. Oh, yeah, but I don't want to. I'm not trying to preach.
I know.
I'm admitting I'm obviously emotional about this. I've gotten, this gets me heated because I've been dealing with it for too long now. And when you're somebody like me who's been out here preaching, let's do this stuff now, and let's work with pretty much whoever we can to try to further this, because you know what? I got a whole motherfucking bunch of skin in the game right now because I got my kids, besides me. So, you know what? I'm really trying, and why don't we do this? Okay, great. But now it's just so many people have gotten sucked back into the left-right divide again. And
it's hard, right? Because anarcho-capitalism, like think of the most right-wing political ideology, like think of Pinochet. Anarcho-capitalism is like further right than him. So it's going to attract people that have ill qualities and pariah-like tendencies.
But it's not even. Is. It's not. It has nothing to do with that. Any ideology will attract whatever, because what the true sociopaths of society want is not always the same. So they'll find what works for them, and that's what they'll go after.
All I'm saying is every racist in the world became an anarcho-capitalist overnight, it'd be better.
Right. Yeah.
Messaging to that crowd might not be a negative thing.
I mean, once again, I said any group. I mean, really, I just don't think that we should throw our lots in with them. You know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that we should saddle up with them.
No, because it is socialism, building a nation around a collective identity of race, and then making that state perfect for the that race. I mean, it's a lie. Yeah. And the biggest contradiction of all is if you look at all the books that are written for socialism, they're all written by Jews. It doesn't even make sense. Why? It is a big confusion for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to come on here. I think the first thing I was going to say, Michael, my co-host on Liberty Lampoon, wanted me to send a message to everybody on Seeds of Liberty, you guys, you two. Something about Dave, your beard looks like a great place for him to rest his ball sack. So I don't know what that means, but
okay.
He said that. No, I didn't. You don't know him. Don't worry.
I tell him I sleep with a gun in my hand.
See, I mean, I don't know. That just doesn't sound like something.
So you're into kinky shit. That's
Michael.
He'll be missing a ball sack if he tries that. Is what I'm
No, he didn't actually say that. I just wanted to put those words in his mouth.
That makes more
he'll
sense.
listen to this, and
I've got beef with him now. I have beef with him now. I'm starting a Twitter war with him.
Now you're going to get your co-host killed. Way to go, Aaron. That's really nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst. I would have to find a new co-host, maybe one that doesn't echo me all the fucking time. Jesus.
Well, actually, isn't he
the Colossus of Clout?
Wasn't he former military though? Maybe he could take Dave. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he is. He's a former Marine. So.
Oh, Dave, you're screwed, man. I wouldn't. Maybe you should just let. Maybe you should just let the nice.
A bully doesn't give a shit what you are, especially if it's a nutsack.
I was gonna say
that's another thing. I wanted to ask you guys something. So actually, probably I'd be better off asking like Veteran Anarchy or something. But General Mattis is the Secretary of Defense, I guess, or whatever. Yes. I don't know. And, he's a psychopath, like straight up.
Mad Dog? Isn't that his nickname?
Yeah, that's his name. Yes.
Yeah, he's wild.
but he is straight up. I've seen so many libertarian, former Marines that still have mad respect for him. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And that, I don't know what to think about that, because I can't even talk about the guy on our podcast because, I want to lampoon him, right? Mm-hmm. But I can't even bring him up because it's not that, Michael would just go to bat for him. And I don't really want to put that out in a podcast, like a libertarian podcast with a guy saying he loves the Secretary of Defense,
Well,
maybe we're in murky waters right now, Aaron. There's a lot of people that think they're libertarian. They really, 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 really do. But they've never read a book. And I know that isn't that's an appeal or whatever, but they've never read any of the philosophy to really understand what it is. It's like 90% of Christians have really never read the Bible. I'm sure it goes for every other religion. So
if they're libertarians now, is that not such a
they were most likely in that position because of that guy's commands. So
right.
All right. So that was freaky. We just had a recording snafu. Sorry, Dave. Didn't mean to cut you off like that, but I think you were saying that people still had this attachment, or to
residual statism, or it was Stockholm syndrome. It was leftover Stockholm syndrome. That's what it was.
And then Jeremy, you made the point that it's kind of the same thing as when a family member is, still Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because Dave, I think you were alluding to the fact that it's stock options. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. I guess maybe I was trying to be less harsh. Maybe I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that maybe it's just viewing it as like a close, even if they weren't close to him personally, but it's that like respect thing. I mean, if you have somebody in your life like that, are you very likely to look at them with the same critical eye as you are anybody else? I know I'm sure I'm guilty of it plenty of times. I see most people usually fall into that. It's hard. Just no matter how principled you are, no matter how
there can be a lot of cognitive dissonance there.
Well, but it's I get to an extent, but I think it's just more of an attachment thing. Like you feel, if you have some type of bond with another human being that you feel a connection to, that you feel love for, whatever, or respect or whatever it is, like it's harder for you to be critical of them. I think that's part of human nature, at least the way we're currently constructed, or the majority of us, it seems. It's just
right. I to be fair though, I do think I'm a little bit over exaggerating Michael's opinion about that's my co-host, his opinion about the guy, but it's just an interesting thought process that because he's not the only, like I said, he's not the only libertarian I've seen kind of have maybe a touch of hero worship for the guy, and it's just very interesting to me to see
fascism and libertarian aren't too far off the spectrum. They really aren't.
Oh no, I do not want to hear the whole. We got to go through the keyhole of fascism.
No, I'm not going to say that. But fascism is usually built around hero worship, and if you read all the fascist doctrines, it's usually, hey, we just really need the right hero in.
Right.
Okay, so there's not much difference between that and a guy owning his own kingdom.
Yeah, I'm gonna start calling it. We gotta go. We gotta go through the pee hole of fascism to get to liberty. We gotta get through the dick hole of fascism, guys.
Yeah. What I think we have to do is just hope this thing collapses under its own weight, and we can go in and set up places where they're not going to be able to.
It's not going to happen like that. It never does. They don't. Because the more dire it gets for the people who still have the power, the more they grasp out and strike harder and do whatever they can. It just gets worse. It doesn't actually just die out like that. I've gotten accused of having that thinking.
So
Plenty of libertarians and so-called anarchists accuse me of that all the time. That I believe that the state's just going to go away on its own. It's like, no, that's not what I believe at all. I'm talking about actively working to stop the state, but doing it right now instead of sitting around and theorizing it about all the fucking time and talking about what if, and still trying to make use of the political system, because it seems a lot of people latch on to Rothbard. Well, Rothbard did this and Rothbard did this. Did Rothbard get anywhere? No. He helped a bunch of us a couple. He helped a bunch of us a couple generations later to really take these ideas and start running with them, but not everything he said. And it's one thing to follow in somebody's footsteps. It's another thing to keep making their same mistakes. Because he didn't get very.
Remember when Rothbard appealed
to the left, failed. Took him quite a while to finally realize it, give up, and say, okay, that was a bad idea. Guess what? He didn't actually give up on the populism. He died. He never got anywhere with it, though. So the fact that everybody's emulating him is fucking retarded.
Exactly. Blows my mind.
So, brilliant economist, pretty damn good historian, too. Interesting motherfucker.
I think it was
like great looking eyebrows too.
Fantastic eyebrows. Fantastic eyebrows.
I think state involvement for early libertarians was pragmatic, and I think it still is pragmatic for most libertarians. If they had the choice, they wouldn't pick the state involvement.
But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
they have the choice. They're just not waking.
Of understanding.
No, there's people that understand this much better than me that aren't doing it. So that's not. I don't buy that.
It's just still. It's like at the end of the day, you still have to use their roads. You still have to use all this other stuff. It's like now we're just setting arbitrary.
Well, no
things.
Why not? I still use them.
Yeah, I just say here's my limits with what I'm going to involve myself with the state.
The roads are paid. The road, at least what they always touted to the American public was that the roads are paid for by your gasoline taxes and tolls and stuff like that. So
what blows my mind is
I have to pay for that because they freak out.
Don't even think about how crazy private roads would be. Like you wouldn't even be able to get off the exit onto like a private interstate without a breathalyzer pass or something. The insurance would be that nuts.
No, and people no, it wouldn't, Dave. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into this because we're running kind of late on time. I know Aaron has to go, but
maybe next week.
Yeah, maybe next week. But I don't really see that being the case because
I need to indoctrinate my child because it's time for bed.
Yeah,
so he needs to be indoctrinated by watching Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood because apparently that's a communist show. I didn't realize that, but
my kids never got into that, so I don't know. But actually, that's not true.
It's the follow-up. It is literally the world of imaginary land from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Actually, I was about to say I take that back because now I remembered they do act. They've watched it from time to time.
Work, Aaron.
Yeah, it is actually. Everybody just gets to go and pick all the strawberries they want out of the garden. And
everything works in imagination land.
King Friday.
Well, listen, we've been talking this whole show about people who just keep running on theory and not actually trying to put anything into practice. I don't think mocking people who live in imagination land is the best thing for you to do right now, Dave.
I'm always in imagination land.
On that note, let's get wrapping up so we can get Aaron out of here. Aaron, it's been great having you on, man. Thank you for putting up with my rant. Thank you for coming on. And thanks for being part of this discussion. So plug away, my friend, and say anything you want to say before we get closing up.
Plug away. Yeah. Well, we talked about porn earlier, so I won't go there. But you can go to libertylampoon.com and find all of our socials. And where to subscribe to us, where to listen to us, and all that. Just libertylampoon.com. I think that's the best place. So
perfect.
So that's like a National Lampoon, but Liberty Lampoon.
Oh God,
you're the Liberty version of it. Are we going to start having video or movies coming out that are just all libertarian and cat bent?
Yeah, I've been speaking with the guy who did Alongside Night about getting something together.
Get him and the guy that made Trolls 3.
My
Lord.
Well, it can't be worse than Alongside Night, so...
He won't stop talking about Michael W. Dean, though, so apparently there's still blood in the water there.
Oh, I'm surprised he dropped my name from, I barely got involved with him. He hated me with a passion quickly, though. Apparently he listened to a bunch of shows where Michael and I were talking about him.
Hey guys, go to theseedsofliberty.com. Check out all their stuff there. Make sure you go to libertylampoon.com if you haven't yet. There's a lot of good stuff on there. There's all of our socials, how you can reach us. Follow us on Twitter at libertylampoon. Lots of stuff coming up. If you were looking forward to us hitting on General Mattis, let me just say you should probably listen this next week. Because he may or may not be stopping by the show, and he may or may not be in drag. How are we going to do that on the radio, you ask? Well, you'll have to tune in to find out. It's going to be a real mess, and, it might be our last show. We might get drone bombed. So anyways, see you guys next week. Thanks so much for listening. See ya.